Welcome back. Of course, besides the Women's T20 World Cup, it is all about the Formula E, and it's making its maiden pit stop in the mother city. It's a street track that has been designed in Greenpoint, and it's got 11 teams with 22 drivers that are going to be arriving and ready for action. The series is more than just about the motorsport, of course. It also aims to educate the public about e-mobility. Joining me once again is our sports reporter, Justin Ford. Justin, you of course, and the eNCA sports editor, Vatangobeni, spoke at length about just the different things that, can be tackled, looked at, unpacked, and perhaps things that can benefit from the Formula E-Prix happening in Cape Town. But just, what is the feeling on the ground? What is the feeling in, the pit lanes? What is the feeling in terms of the motorsport itself? Because the more than 20,000 fans coming out this weekend are coming for that action.
Absolutely, Arthur, and that's exactly why we left the start-finish line, because there's no action there yet, and we moved ourselves to the pit area, and we are stationed outside the pit area of the Abt Cupra team, and that's obviously the team that Calvin van der Linde, the South African, will be part of and partaking in the race later on. But I am joined by Shane Williams, who is a former driver. He competed in Europe in the Polo Cup, GT Masters, the Sayed Cup, and he's got a very special relationship with Calvin van der Linde, and I think it's best to speak to him about that as we are stationed here in front of the garage. Shane, thank you very much for your time. It was great to see you here. We have a relationship. We've known each other for a few years. Your relationship with Calvin, where did it all begin, and sort of, to where it is at the moment?
So Calvin came to race overseas in the Sayed Cup, where I was an instructor. I looked after all the old Formula One drivers there, and I just helped him. I mean, I obviously knew him from before, racing in South Africa, and him and his brother came over there to race. Just helped the connection with all my connections that I'd made over the years. Abt Sportsline was one of my team that I raced for with Christian Abt, and just amazing talent, and obviously with a great backing and all that. So he's managed to go unbelievably far. The guys love him. Obviously, South Africa's also all the Germans remember me. So it's nice that he can be on a world stage now with Formula E. And Sheldon's racing in Kyalami at the moment, which is also pretty awesome. And I'm just very excited for him, because it's awesome to see. I'm a very proud South African. The images that we saw yesterday showcasing the stadium and Table Mountain looked absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will want to come visit here in the next months. So it's just awesome.
Talking to Calvin and his experience in Formula E thus far, yes, we've had conversations with him, but, as a close friend of his, maybe there's certain things that he doesn't openly want to share, but without giving away state secrets, sort of, what is his sense of Formula E, and more specifically, Cape Town? He's obviously had the first free practice yesterday. Sort of, what was his experience like yesterday?
So it was the track conditions are a little bit tricky. Lucky I was fortunate enough to listen into the team radio with his engineers and all the rest. But it's quite hair-raising for the guys, because it's probably one of the fastest tracks on the calendar. And I think you guys saw it yesterday with Buemi. One small mistake can lead to a proper disaster, and if you break the drivetrains and that in a practice, it's so action-packed all in one day that if you damage the car badly, it can be that you don't actually do the rest of the day or the race, And
I think that is, sort of half of the battle that the drivers are facing, in that the margin for error is so small because of the turnaround times, where with Formula One, for argument's sake, you've got free practice on a Friday, then you've got a practice 1 and 2 on a Friday, 3 on a Saturday, qualifying on a Saturday, and you're only racing on the Sunday. Whereas with them, within 2 days and a day and a half, I want to say, all the action is done. Yes, the race itself is a very short period, and I think that in itself, with the fast cars, I mean, these Gen 3 cars, Formula E has really upped the game when it comes to this. The makeup of the car, has it impressed you much?
Yeah, I think I've obviously never watched Formula E live, and it's very impressive. I know a lot of people are a little bit skeptical about it, but obviously, can't compare it to Formula One. But it's actually amazing to watch. I mean, the cars are super fast. I mean, in free practice and that, they have 350 kilowatts. And in quali and that, if you make it to the next stages, you get an extra 50 kilowatts. So, and the cars they sound a little different, but you got to understand where it comes from and what they're trying to achieve. And it's actually awesome to be here. I'm very fortunate to get a VIP guest of Calvin. So yeah, going to be a great day. And I'm very proud to be South African right now.
Talking about that proudly South African moment, Rene Rust, another former teammate of yours, and he's part of the McLaren team. He's here, enjoying himself. Sort of, what has his experience been like of Cape Town?
No, I mean, listen, he absolutely loves Cape Town. He came to visit us a few times when we were racing together back in the day. Pole Promotion is the managing team. Rene actually is one of the managers of Calvin and Sheldon, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, he's just also landed Wednesday. We only managed to get a quick lunch in with the guys. I was fortunate enough to meet Sasha, also another driver from Argentina, even though he races under the French flag. I still have to ask him about that. But no, Rene, I'm sure there's a couple of ladies on the grandstand. They're going to be waving and maybe doing few things extra for him. But yeah, a lot of messages saying, oh my gosh, Rene and Calvin are here. So it's pretty awesome for Cape Town.
I like that a lot. Verena, let me first apologize before I conclude for getting the incorrect name earlier on. But as Shane mentioned, what a great experience for Cape Town, showcasing South Africa on the whole for these international drivers, for the teams, and knowing that Calvin van der Linde will be flying that flag is an important note to make. Yes, he stepped into Robin Frines' car, and this is potentially his last drive. He does have other commitments for the rest of the year. Yes, he's the reserve driver for the Abt Cupra team, but he's got some DTM championships, some endurance championships. That's where his bread and butter is. But with that being said, he has most certainly enjoyed this experience, and hopefully he can keep it off the barriers in the second free practice as well as in the qualifying, and qualify good enough to be able to just give himself that opportunity to complete the race. I think that is plan number one for Calvin van der Linde, and that way he can end off in style. And hopefully, he did mention as well to us that he hopes that he could secure himself a complete drive, a full drive in the Formula E series hopefully next year.